Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Nice to at least walk down the last few holes, or at least the last hole, knowing that it was pretty much done. It's never
kids run, DR.
Very proud of everybody, and of course Tiro. I mean, what a week to get his first win in a few years and win by 6 in an absolutely dominant performance the way he did. It was absolutely incredible. So I couldn't be happier for him.
Certainly with not winning for 3.5 years, you kind of naturally question if you can do it again. So I'm just proud of myself to be able to get through that and play the way I did.
Hello and welcome to a Wednesday Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid and all across that SportsGrid network. It includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination to consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. A Wednesday before a holiday weekend. Tomorrow is Independence Day. It's America's birthday. It's the 4th of July. So we get you set for this holiday weekend with everything you need to know around Major League Baseball. A huge Tuesday evening with a quadruple header of WNBA action and all-star teams named yesterday around the W, headlined and highlighted by a couple of rookies making an immediate impact in the WNBA. We'll talk some NBA offseason before this holiday weekend. The best free agents still on the market. When will LeBron James sign the dotted line? And maybe some football to send you into the Independence Day holiday. DRS, it should be a very fun 3 hours live right here on this Wednesday on TEL.
Absolutely, it should be. And also, we struggled a little bit here on Monday because we only had 3 Major League Baseball games. But that means we can reap the benefits of a full Wednesday, Thursday, Friday slate here as we head into the holiday weekend. So we got a lot of topics to hit. And also, when we get back from this holiday break on Monday, but again, it's football season. We start to churn. Even though we don't have a ton of NFL topics here, sooner than later, Ben, we'll have those NFL topics.
DRS, a little birdie telling me that over this holiday weekend, perhaps there is some special football content, a summer check-in for you, both in the National Football League. That's Pro Football Today, featuring Donnie Rightside, Kevin Walsh, and Joe Lisi, and a summer school update in the college ranks as well on CFT. But we start today with all-star selections in the WNBA. An interesting format this year, given the Paris Olympics at the end of this month. So it will be Team USA versus Team WNBA. If you were named an all-star but already on the Olympic roster, you will play for Team USA. If you were named an all-star but not on the Olympic roster, Team WNBA. And that features 2 rookies. Both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will finally be teammates selected to an all-star game in their very first season in the WNBA.
Yeah, and you take a look at some of those voting out here. Caitlin Clark, number one overall with over 700,000 votes. And how about this? Aaliyah Boston with 618,000 in second place. Why? Because there is a fever fan base out there that's willing to vote. Asia Wilson may be the best player in the WNBA, 607,000 votes. So roughly what? 95 or so thousand votes short of Caitlin Clark. That's the power of eyeballs on your sport, getting all of these numbers. I would like to see, actually, Ben, in the previous years, if we can ever bring that up, what the voting numbers were. Is that a record, 700,000 for one single player? I would like to see if that's possible.
It is, DRS. In fact, there was a tweet from Van Shea Murdoch, who covers the WNBA, about the voting totals for the All-Star game this year as compared to a season ago. I saw it this morning. I'm trying to scroll back as quickly as I can on this man's Twitter feed, but it is drastic. I do not think the leading vote getter last year got into six figures. That would be 100K. Here it is. Asia Wilson last year in 2023, the leading vote getter, 95,860. Caitlin Clark this year, 700,735. Angel Reese, who finished with the fifth most votes, 381,518. Last year's fifth leading vote getter, Jackie Young, just a little bit more than 63K. The overall voting for the WNBA All-Star selections, so drastically higher. Again, it's what we have said all year long, carrying over the momentum right now in women's hoops. You take a momentum, make it bigger than a moment, it becomes a movement. That is what we are seeing. 3 Indiana Fever players on Team WNBA for the All-Star game, including Aaliyah Boston, who was named an All-Star for her second consecutive year in the WNBA, and Kelsey Mitchell. But all those All-Stars did not exactly step up in the spotlight last night in Las Vegas against the two-time reigning WNBA champs, the Las Vegas Aces. They have looked the part since the return of the point guard, that is Chelsea Gray. All 5 games that Gray has laced them up this year, the Aces have been victorious. 5 wins in a row, 88-69 last night in front of a record crowd in Las Vegas. A 19-point win for Las Vegas over Indiana. They cover as a 13.5-point home favorite.
Yeah, really pulled away in the fourth quarter. Only 10 points scored by the Fever on the road, but we sort of thought this was going to be the process, Ben, when we saw that line yesterday, close to 2 touchdowns as a favorite for the Aces. They are really rounding into form now at 11-6 and looking the part of possibly going back and winning a WNBA championship.
Absolutely so. And it was a record crowd, 20,366 inside T-Mobile Arena last night. That is the 5th most in the history of the WNBA, the highest attended game since 1999. Again, a huge night in the W. Caitlin Clark, 13 points, 11 dimes. By the way, her fellow rook, Angel Reese, last night continues her historic streak. 11 consecutive double-doubles, 12 points, 19 boards last night as Chicago goes on the road and knocks off the Atlanta Dream as a slight 1-point favorite. 11 consecutive double-doubles for Angel Reese, adding to her record, where over the weekend she surpassed Candace Parker, who had the previous record of 9 straight double-doubles set back in 2015. The New York Liberty gets some revenge, as Donnie Rightside predicted yesterday, bouncing back from a Commissioner's Cup defeat last week to the Minnesota Lynx. Last night, the Liberty win by 9, covering as a 4.5-point home favorite over Minnesota.
Yeah, talking about playing some defense here. To see that fourth quarter score, 18-8. That's how you win games and close it out. I believe they were 6.5-point favorites yesterday, and I thought they would win and get the cover, and they did that. Good bounce back performance here. We thought that was going to happen. 17 wins now for the Liberty.
Not a great shooting night for Breanna Stewart, just 5 of 20, but still finishing with 17 points and 17 boards. From the WNBA to a rookie now in the NBA, that would be Bronny James. He signs a multi-year, 2-year guaranteed deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. When the 2024-25 NBA season begins, Bronny James is going to be on the roster in Los Angeles, not their G League affiliate in the South Bay, on the roster of the LA Lakers.
Yep, and that was always the issue with some of the other teams that may have thought to draft Bronny James as a reclamation project, which I guess isn't fair to say, more of like a let's see what happens in somewhat of a futures contract where he would play in the G League. But we understood the game was, you know what's going to happen? Yeah, he's going to the NBA. He's never going to the G League. And if you don't want to draft him that way, don't draft him. That's why the Lakers got him at 55. And also his father is on the Lakers. Dodgers. There you go.
A new era in Los Angeles, perhaps the end of an era for Kemba Walker, a four-time NBA All-Star, a legend in Charlotte, a legend in Stores, that being Connecticut, retires yesterday from basketball.
And he'll be able to relax with the millions of dollars that he has. I guess it was one of the bigger news stories yesterday that we saw, Ben. Kemba Walker, tough scene.
If our social media team is tweeting about it, you know that it is big news. Other big news in base. Come on now, man. No need to slander a guy as he says goodbye. Big news yesterday in baseball as well. Despite hitting his National League leading 27th home run of the year, a 2-run shot on Dinger Tuesday for the Dodgers at the Ravine, Shohei Ohtani will not compete in the 2024 MLB Home Run Derby. That's less than 2 weeks away in Arlington during the All-Star break.
Yeah, okay. I'm commissioner again in Major League Baseball. You know I have some wonky ideas here. I've done it in the NBA with the dunk competition. I'll do it again in baseball. If Shohei Ohtani is voted in by the people where they want him to be in that home run contest and he says no, it's a 20-game suspension without pay for not showing up for your fans. Like, we're not doing – why are we not the biggest star in the sport that we know would love and can crank 500-foot home run after a 500-foot home run? Yeah, I'm not going to do it for the fans. Shout out Shohei Ohtani. Come on, man.
Oh, that had some heat behind it. Kemba Walker and a Shohei Ohtani. Goodness. The quarterfinals now set in both the Euros and Copa America. But Copa America loses a little bit of its luster without the U.S. men's national team. Around Major League Baseball, we go up next here on the Early Line. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we've talked about it on here, that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. Are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Around Major League Baseball on this Wednesday, a huge Tuesday card, a full slate. Same story on this Wednesday, and of course, that carries over into tomorrow. It's the 4th of July. It's America's pastime on America's birthday. In DRS, some of the marquee matchups happening this week around Major League Baseball. That is in Seattle, where the Mariners continue to struggle. Make that 9 losses in the last 12 games for the M's. A very low-scoring game yesterday in the Northwest. Only a total of 7 in Baltimore, the only team scoring runs. 2-0 the victory for the O's over Seattle. Baltimore playing better baseball after struggling at this point last week. They had lost 5 straight games. Since that point, they have turned it on. Seattle, again, 9 of their last 12 in the loss column.
Yeah, Seattle's a bad baseball team, but I do think those fortunes change a little bit today. We'll get to that later in the show. But yesterday, I think we hit the nail on the head here. Thinking about one of those pitchers' ballparks with 2 good pitchers on the mound, we think that game would stay under the total. And the simple handicap for me was, all right, if you have a coin flip here between, let's just say, the pitchers on the mound, who do you lean towards at the plate? Well, it was a much better plate appearance yesterday for the Orioles. And again, I understand they only scored 2 runs, but they were the better side entering into that game. I wasn't surprised to see how it played out. And also Grayson Rodriguez, 10th win of the season here, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits and no earned runs. That's the way you handle your business. Boy, Seattle just can't get out of their own way at the plate, wasting a pretty good performance out of Kirby on the mound. He drops to 7-6 despite having an ERA of 3.32. That tells you the struggles that the Mariners are having this season at the plate.
A quality outing out of George Kirby, but just outdueled by Grayson Rodriguez. 6 1/3 shutout baseball. Had a bunch of Ks yesterday as well. Rodriguez, in his second year in Major League Baseball, has won 5 of his last 6 starts since the beginning of June. Now 10-3 with that 3.45 ERA. He's not even the ace. That's Corbin Burns. You have to feel good about the staff in Baltimore as you project deeper into the season and, of course, into October. The Orioles have won 5 of their last 6 because of a Yankees loss yesterday at home against the Reds that we'll recap in just a little bit. The Orioles now stand alone at the top of the American League East, a 1-game lead for that first place position. Seattle still in first in the American League West and a 3-game advantage over Houston. But again, the Mariners have dropped 9 of their last 12. It was an even pick'em yesterday in Toronto between the Astros and the Blue Jays. Houston tried to make it interesting. They were down 7-0. After 4 innings, they played 5 in the top of the 5th, including another long ball from Yordan Alvarez. But the Blue Jays do hold on to even the first 2 games of this 4-game set. 7-6 the victory yesterday for the Jays in Toronto.
Yeah, not a great pitching performance here. And also, even though Barrios got the win, 8-6 on the season, 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. I understand his ERA is at 3.63, but he's certainly not pitching of that ilk lately here. You'd like to see him return back to form, but it's still a victory and slows down the Houston Astros now back to 43-42. Arrighetti was on the mound, 4 innings pitched, 7 total runs, 6 of those earned. That's more like we saw at the beginning of the season of what Arrighetti was giving up here. We'll see how that continues, but you're not going to win every game for the Houston Astros. But if you do get a game where you score 6 runs, you hope that you win. Yeah. But your pitchers certainly weren't up to the task, which included your starting pitcher.
Yep, still they have won 10 of their last 12, that being the Stros. But the peak this year, at least above 500 at this current moment. 2 games above 500, 43 and 41. Now just a single game above 500, 43 and 42. But the Stros have been able to make up so much ground in the last 2.5 weeks because of Seattle's struggles and their better play. Again, the Mariners have lost 9 of their last 12 games. The Astros have won 10 of their last 12. Yesterday in Kansas City, the Rays and the Royals. Kansas City, a slight money line favorite. And DRS, you liked the starter yesterday for KC, Brady Singer. He was good, but the Rays get to the bullpen. A 5-1 victory for Tampa over KC, who entered this set winning their final 2 series in the month of June.
Yeah, a long rain delay in this one. I believe it was like 2.5 hours. Yeah. So you take a look at the starting pitchers there. Littell was very good, who I didn't think he would be that great on the road. 5 innings pitched, no earned runs giving up. That's exactly what you like to see. But also, I was really betting on Singer, who dropped to 4-5 on the season. If you would have told me once again before the game, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, and 1 earned run, I still would have backed Kansas City. They just didn't come up at the plate. And quite frankly, they didn't have a lot of opportunities either. 0-for-2 with runners in scoring position. The Tampa Bay Rays were better from start to finish yesterday. That was the right side.
Bobby Witt Jr. did hit his 13th home run of the year on Dinger Tuesday, so still some profitability on KC. But our guys, Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Massey, not exactly stepping up at the dish yesterday. Brady Singer only gave up a single earned run, but when he left the game, the Rays were up 1-0. Thus, he suffers the loss. The Royals did win a very big series this weekend against the Cleveland Guardians, taking 3 of 4. But, Donnie, when you look at the Royals, really in the month of June, they won their final 2 sets, but had lost 11 of 14 before that point. Tampa, however, turning it on. The Rays have won 10 of their last 14.
Yeah, and again, we expect this out of the Rays, right? It's one of those teams that you almost think of what the Houston Astros have done, like out of sight, out of mind for the first part of the season. Yeah. And then you realize that, oh, look at that. They are a game now over 500, 7-3 in their last 10 ball games. And this is exactly what they do. Is there superstar power on the team? No, there isn't. Are there unbelievable, dominant frontline starting pitching? Not necessarily, but here they are hanging around. Now, granted, they're not going to win the AL East. They're 11 games back at this point. We don't anticipate that, but it was one of those teams where, like, okay, dead and buried, just like the Astros. Not so fast, right back in to that wild card race there.
Absolutely so, because DRS, when you look at the American League East, it was a division we all predicted and anticipated would be one of the best in baseball this year. 4 teams now, including the Rays, who are above 500. The only division in baseball that can say that. There are not many that even have 3 teams above 500. The AL Central and the NL East, the only other 2. So the American League East, a strong division. When you look at those wild card standings, because the Yankees are now a game back in the divisional race behind Baltimore, they're the top team in the American League wild card standings at the moment. The Red Sox, only a half game behind the Royals for that 3rd and final spot. The Rays, only 3 games back of that 3rd and final wild card position. We'll look more around MLB, a National League Central focus next. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we talked about it on here, that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What, are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Around Major League Baseball from yesterday, a full slate on a Tuesday that we recap for you on this Wednesday. All the midweek series that will carry us through Independence Day tomorrow and the holiday weekend are now officially underway. The Reds, a hefty underdog inside Yankee Stadium, as you would presume. The New York Yankees, a minus 210 home money line favorite. Luis Gil, he is struggling. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But Elly De La Cruz, in his first appearance in the Bronx, a home run, a triple, and the Reds get a victory again as a big underdog inside Yankee Stadium, 5-4.
Yeah, pretty crazy. We actually thought yesterday, right, this game would go over the total, posted at 8.5, sneaks over and gets to 9 because this game didn't start out all that hot overall. First 3 innings, nobody scored through 4 innings, only 1 run, but then you see the Cincinnati Reds bust through in the top of the 5th inning with 4 runs to take that 5-run lead, and then it turns into 5-3, 5-4, and away you go. The bullpen shuts it down for Cincinnati. But again, it's not so much the New York Yankees. They'll be okay the rest of the summer. They're just having a tough time right now. The focus, again, would be on Luis Gil, who started out looking like he might be the Cy Young Award-winning pitcher, and now has been struggling as of late. 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. That's not good enough. But really, Aaron Judge, 3 for 4 again with another home run. The man is hitting .321. Power hitters aren't supposed to do this. And it's crazy because you weren't even getting help yesterday. 0 for 5 Volpe, 0 for 3 Judge, which means nobody's really helping him out by being on base. And yet again, Judge providing all the information you need to be the MVP in 2024. He's been absolutely sensational. Can it get any better? Can he 330, 340, 350? My goodness, man.
I mean, he is going to be the Triple Crown winner this year. He is leading Major League Baseball in batting average, 321. Home runs yesterday, adding on to his already MLB best total, make it 32 long balls this year for Judge, and RBIs, 83 ribbies this season. They tried. It was that homer from Judge, the solo shot in the 7th, that made it just a 1-run difference, but not enough. Elly De La Cruz, sensational, that 2-run shot and a triple yesterday in the 5th inning. Not both in the same inning, but the 2-run shot in the 5th. The Yankees, though, as we focus on June 14th, because on June 14th, DRS, since he was only a game below 500, they were starting to play better baseball at the end of May and into early June. They entered yesterday's opener, though, inside Yankee Stadium, having dropped 10 of their last 15. On 6/14, the Yankees were 50-22. Since that point, they have lost 11 of their last 15 now. And I'm just going to say, there seems to be a direct correlation from when we stopped jokingly calling Luis Gil Lucas Gil, an inside joke and behind-the-scenes bit here on the show that we shared with you, and we're very transparent, trying to build a fun community and audience on a morning sports talk show. God forbid, and what he has done over his last 3 starts. He has dropped all 3 starts. He entered yesterday, allowing 12 earned in his last 2, 4 earned given up yesterday in only 4 innings of work. Luis Gil now is now 9-4 with a 3.41 ERA. When we stopped joking that it was Luis, don't call him Lucas Gil. He was 9-1 with a 2.03 ERA. So again, I'm not going to say it's a direct correlation, but it does strike me as an awful coincidence.
No, and also, this isn't good times here for the Yankees, who, thank goodness, got a decent start at a Garrett Cole last time around, because you're taking a look at Nestor Cortez, questionable at best right now. Luis Gil, questionable at best. Carlos Rodon, questionable at best. Who's going to step up for the staff, and do you just need to return back to Cy Young form here for Garrett Cole? But you need also, like, Garrett Cole coming back was supposed to be the icing on the cake, Ben, right? Like, ooh, look at all these pitchers doing great, and now we get the best pitcher on our staff back. And now it looks like, yes, you got the best pitcher on your staff back. We hope that works out in your favor, but everything around them falling apart. It's a long baseball season. We get that. The ebbs and flows are going to be there. The Yankees were playing sensational baseball, but now they're not. And primarily, it feels like we're leaning on that pitching staff as not getting it done from what they were doing over the first couple months. 54-33 is still a really good record, but now you're just starting to see like maybe limping into that all-star break right now.
A game behind the Orioles, but Donnie, we'll get to some more baseball in just a moment. Breaking news out of the association. LeBron James, as we said at the start of the show, when was he going to sign that dotted line? he has inked his new deal to remain in Los Angeles with the Lakers. 2-year max worth $104 million. Of course, he opted out of the final year of his contract this offseason, was a free agent, one of the biggest free agents on the board. He is back in LA, a 2-year max deal worth $104 million. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. More around Major League Baseball next. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we talked about it on here, that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What, are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
A full slate Tuesday card in Major League Baseball. The same story on this Wednesday. Let's fly around with the recaps that set the stage for the same matchups on this Wednesday night. In Chicago, inside the friendly confines, the opener of the midweek set between the Cubbies and the Phils. Philadelphia booked as an underdog because the Phils right now slightly shorthanded. Don't tell that to Trey Turner. 2 long balls yesterday, 4 RBIs, and the Phils hold on late over Chicago, who scored 3. Seiya Suzuki, 3-run shot in the home half of the 9th. 6-4 victory for the Phillies, DRS. The best team in baseball, an underdog in Wrigley, and they cashed that plus money price.
It's always a hard handicap when you're getting a guy that's starting in Major League Baseball and you don't know how he's going to fare. And you got that out of Mercado. But I did tell you yesterday, his statistics in the minor leagues were actually very, very good. He goes on the road in Wrigley, temperatures in the 80s, wind blowing out. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, only 1 earned run, and 4 strikeouts through 78 pitches. That's exactly what you wanted to see. Now, Soto, Kerkering, and Marte came in and did a fine job with the next 3 innings here. Got a little hairy in the 9th inning as you saw Ruiz come in, didn't record an out and gave up 3 runs. You're like, oh, no, here we go. That's a really big win for the Phillies, and that comes off of the effort in that Marlins series where you're just waiting to see what was going to take place, how they would fare on the road. You need your superstars to step up. And you look at that Phillies lineup. Yes, they're down 3 stars in their lineup, but correct me if I'm wrong, Trey Turner's still making over $300 million on a contract. You have to sort of step up when your time is called. He really did that yesterday with the 2 home runs, to give him that early lead and also the cushion here. That's a great win for the Phillies. And it's crazy to say, like, every win by the Phillies is great now, even though they have the best record in baseball, but it just feels like you're stealing games from the Atlanta Braves as long as you keep climbing without your stars, who you'll probably get back after the All-Star break.
56 and 29, .659, the win percentage for the Phils, the best record in Major League Baseball, the best win percentage, the most wins with 56. And because the Braves lost at home yesterday to the San Francisco Giants 5-3, the Gigantes getting a win, a 9-game lead now for the Fightins atop the National League East. So it was interesting, in my opinion, to see the Cubbies as a home favorite against baseball's best, and the Buccos a home favorite against the St. Louis Cardinals, who have been really good in the month of June and entered yesterday winners of 7 of their last 10. Neither starter was great yesterday, Kyle Gibson for St. Louis or Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh, but the Redbirds get a victory as an underdog inside PNC Park thanks to a Nolan Gorman grand salami early in the contest. The Redbirds win 7-4.
Yeah, and by the way, yesterday we were sort of handicapping this matchup and saying, all right, both of these pitchers actually coming in pretty good form. They got lumped up, each one of those. But it's a shame, too, because I never actually got to the window on what I was talking about with the breakdown analysis. I had a lot of things going on yesterday, doing a lot of things for the grid. I said look out for those left-handed batters in the lineup for the Cardinals. And the 3 guys I mentioned, Burleson, 205, a home run and 2 RBI. You take a look at Donovan, 304 with an RBI. You take a look at Gorman, 4 RBIs yesterday. I mean, my goodness, should have parlayed those all the way around. But that's a good win for the Cardinals, and left-handed batters do get after Mitch Keller a bit, and they certainly did yesterday.
Yeah, they did. One of my favorite things about the Pirates, just from a betting trends perspective, not trying to call out the Steel City here, but the Pirates are one of 3 teams, when booked as a moneyline favorite this year, that has a losing record in Major League Baseball. Now 15 and 19 straight up with a minus money price on the money line, expected to win the game outright. And the other 2 teams, the Angels and the Marlins, are among baseball's worst and have been booked as a favorite less than 15 times. The Brew Crew, by the way, rallying yesterday in the 9th in Coors Field. The Rockies walked it off in extras the day prior. The Brew Crew loaded the bases, down by a run in the 9th. A sac fly and Rhys Hoskins getting hit by a pitch, the game-winning run. When things are bad for the National League's worst team in the Rockies, we saw that yesterday in Colorado. The Brewers a minus 430 favorite to win the National League Central.
Yeah, I actually liked the Colorado Rockies again yesterday, and they did have the lead in the 9th inning. A little Coors magic going in the opposite direction, which allowed the Milwaukee Brewers to win. But really the handicap again was, I don't think Dallas Keuchel's a great pitcher. And in Coors, he did the job yesterday. 5 1/3 innings pitched, only 4 hits, 2 earned runs. You take that every time. Feltner, I thought, was actually the better pitcher on the mound. He was fine yesterday. 5 innings pitched and 1 earned run there. They should have won that game. A little bit of plus 105 in my back pocket. Didn't get taken care of because why? The Rockies just aren't a good baseball team. That's how you become a bad baseball team, losing games like that at home.
So Milwaukee in first place, 51 and 35. St. Louis back by 6 games. The Cards, the only other team in the NL Central above 500. Pittsburgh, by the way, 4 games below 500 since June 2nd. The Buccos have never been better than 2 games below 500, but never worse than 4 games below 500. The definition of mediocre. To the Twin Cities we go next. Minnesota at home, taking on Tarek Skubal, the front-runner for the American League Cy Young Award, entering yesterday, now a co-favorite. Not his greatest outing, did not pick up the loss, but did allow 3 earned runs as Minnesota gets 3 against Skubal. 2 more later, the Twins win 5-3.
This is one of those games you looked at, too, where I thought the game would stay under the total, and it closed around that 7.5, so you got burned a little bit. But if you would have told me before the game, hey, by the way, Detroit's only going to have 1 runner in scoring position throughout the entirety of the game, I probably would have believed you there because they only scored 3 runs yesterday. But we saw that lineup saying, forget about the pitcher on the one side for the Minnesota. How can Detroit actually score some runs? Well, they really do all that much yesterday. And the handicap came down to, boy, those Minnesota Twins really can hit left-handed pitching. I wonder how they line up against one of the better left-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball. And they were all right. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. You'll take that of Skubal. Yeah. That guy's one of the best pitchers in the league. That's a good win for the Minnesota Twins. Even though it's a bad baseball team in Detroit, you're still facing one of the better pitchers. You'll take that every time a victory there.
In Skubal's second-to-last inning of work, the bottom of the 5th, he did have a lead. Manuel Margot, a solo shot to tie it up at 3. Minnesota won it from there. The Twins have now won in their recent games, 7 of their last 9. So Skubal entered yesterday as the solo favorite at plus 190 to win the American League Cy Young Award. Corbin Burnes only backed by less than $0.50. Now, co-favorites Skubal and Burnes, the ace for Baltimore, at plus 210. Garrett Crochet is about the only good thing for the Chicago White Sox at 8-1, but does look like a two-pitcher race for that AL Cy Young Award.
Yeah, the good thing about Major League Baseball is, the voters are usually pretty good on this. And I always talk about those extracurriculars. Like, well, you got to give it to Burnes. He pitched more high-leverage situations down the stretch because they were fighting off the Yankees and trying to make the playoffs, whereas we don't think the Detroit Tigers are going to win their division or make the playoffs at this point. But we've seen pitchers under 500 win the Cy Young Award, so it's going to be based on just how you're doing on the mound, and Skubal should be there in the end as well. I just like Burnes and all of a sudden what goes along with it. If they're both neck and neck right now, I still would give the slight edge to Corbin Burnes based on he's on the Orioles at this point. I know you're not supposed to do that, but it's just the way I see it.
But it is a fair point, right? Individual success leads to team success. Yeah. We have wins and losses for a pitcher for a reason. Of course, those are very individual. Skubal is still 9-3 this year, but Corbin Burnes has been great. Of course, won a Cy Young Award in the other league, the NL, back in 2021 with the Brewers. Yesterday, the Braves, with who could be in National League Cy Young contention, Reynaldo Lopez on the bump, were booked as a minus 200 favorite. Lopez not terrible yesterday by any means against Atlanta. Only went 4 1/3, giving up 2 earned runs. But the Giants pull off a big upset in the ATL. They win 5-3.
And this is what you get used to with the Atlanta Braves. Like, they can no longer hit their way to victory, so 3 runs seems like that should be enough to win baseball games. It's really not in Major League Baseball. Birdsong, by the way, wondering how he would perform. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on the road in Atlanta. You'll take that each and every time. And it wasn't a disastrous start for Reynaldo Lopez, raising his ERA to 1.83 after 4 1/3 innings pitched and 2 earned runs. But they just can't hit. The Atlanta Braves no longer are that team that you fear, that 1 through 9 lineup, and that gives teams the advantage going into Atlanta, saying, hey, look, we put up 4 or 5 runs, we should win. Not, hey, if we score 5 runs in Atlanta, we hope we win those games. We'll see what happens for the Braves with dipping farther and farther back now from the Philadelphia Phillies.
A 6-2 record for Reynaldo Lopez and the best ERA in baseball at 1.83, but has only thrown 83 2/3 innings in total this year. By the way, the Rangers get to Dylan Cease yesterday, and the Padres winning 7-0. Look at that. Take it to the break. WNBA Talk next. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score into stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on the Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. He was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we talked about it on here, that a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
A huge night in the WNBA, a quadruple header of games, the all-star teams named. We'll get to everything in the W in just a moment, but big breaking news in the other association, that would be the NBA, on this Wednesday morning. LeBron James is signing once again with the LA Lakers, a 2-year deal worth the maximum amount of $104 million to remain in LA. He opted out earlier this summer and this offseason, but all expectations, Donnie, is that LeBron James would remain in Los Angeles. He does. 2-year deal, $104 million. However, there was a thought that maybe LeBron James would take a reduced amount so the Lakers could booster up the roster and sign some other players to help them make a true run toward contention. Did not do that, which is not necessarily a great sign for the Lakers that they were in the running for any of the available free agents still standing.
It's pretty, and it's wild because we'll get to that thought process in a second, but just the fact that, like, LeBron is a great teammate to have because it's not just a ball-centric guy that says, I'm just going to clog it up. Remember Carmelo Anthony, the problem was, like, yeah, he's a great scorer, but nobody wants to play with the guy because he just backs people down for 15 seconds and shoots a fadeaway and says, that's the best offense that we have. That's what we're going to do. Like, LeBron does it all. A lot of assists here. He can play point guard at times. It's always just a wonder. Like, I understand the Miami Heat had the big three, and it worked out in spades down there in Miami. But the fact of the matter is, you just can't find that third person to go along with LeBron James. And also, yes, the point bringing up where, okay, we knew he was going to opt out of his contract. The only thing that would have thrown things into a loop, right, if Bronny James didn't get drafted by the Lakers and he got angry that he was told that was going to happen, and he opts out and he leaves, that was going to be a far-fetched answer to the situation. But we always thought LeBron James was going to be there. But the fact of the matter, he said, look, I'm going to opt out, obviously, because I want to opt back in, but I'm willing to take a discount. If you guys bring to the table a player that I really believe is going to help me in a quest for another championship, I'll take as much as $20 million less in order for that to happen. They didn't wait long here in free agency to close this deal and give him the max contract extension, which means they're not going to get the benefit. Now, granted, there's some, exception contracts you can have and veteran exceptions. We get all that. But this was supposed to be on top of that. I'm willing to forego salary to bring in another player. The fact that we see that maximum deal, there is no star player coming along again. So you get what you get, I guess, out there in Los Angeles.
And just to be clear, we're not faulting LeBron James for taking the money that he rightfully deserves, that 2-year, $104 million max contract. It's just a sign of the times that the free agency pool is not all that deep or talented this year. And really, after Klay Thompson made his way to Dallas, signing that 3-year deal worth $50 million with the Mavs in the 3-team sign and trade, that was about it. Klay's father, Michael Thompson, of course, a historic Los Angeles Laker who shared yesterday on Sirius XM. He was disappointed, tried to lure his son to Southern California. Instead, he goes to Dallas. But yesterday, a big day for the Lakers organization as well. It was announced that Bronny James has signed a multi-year guaranteed contract with the LA Lakers. So he's not going to start in the G League. As we anticipated, he will be a member of the LA Lakers roster from day number one. His introductory press conference yesterday, a couple of the best quotes. J.J. Redick, new head coach in Los Angeles, LeBron's former podcast co-host. Bronny has earned this through hard work. There's a lot to like about his game. Okay, that's fine, J.J. I actually do believe in that. Bronny, quote, I never really had a thought about me going to play with my dad, end quote. I'm sure you've seen the memes on social media of a young LeBron James. It's the lying face meme where he just says outlandish things that could never have been true. Apparently it runs in the family.
Exactly. And you can just tell by the press conference that the things that the coaches are saying, J.J. Redick, and also the players themselves, Bronny James, they don't believe anything of what they're trying to tell you. Because the fact that you had to lead a press conference by saying, let me get this straight, essentially, Bronny deserves this, that means you don't actually think he deserved it, and we all know what the picture is. Now, granted, he's a great basketball player. Very few people can be McDonald's All-Americans, even though his father did place him on the McDonald's All-American team. Very few people can go to USC, which his dad made him go there to stay close to home. Very few people can make the NBA and play for the Los Angeles Lakers because their dad plays for him and said, you better draft my son right here. And very few players that are in the second round demand full contracts that are just in the NBA and not two-way contracts because their name is Bronny James. But having said all of those points together, he did earn his way here in the NBA.
Yeah, that was very good veiled sarcasm that I do not think was all that veiled. There is a Bronny James specials category on the FanDuel Sportsbook, including what is my favorite bet of the year, Bronny James' first assist in the 2024-25 regular season to be scored by his father, LeBron James. Some excellent social media conjecture, though, after Bronny James was drafted 55th overall on Thursday, like people finding out that LeBron James is now sleeping with one of his teammates' mothers. That is a great one, I shall say. Elsewhere around the NBA yesterday in free agency, the Warriors looking to fill a couple of spots on the roster after the departure of Klay Thompson. They get slow-mo Kyle Anderson. They are in a pursuit of Buddy Hield, who spent most of last year in Philadelphia. The Magic extend Jonathan Isaac. They re-sign Mo Wagner. The Pacers add James Wiseman. It's been a very tumultuous young NBA career for Wiseman, from Golden State to Detroit, now to Indiana. And the Celtics bring back the X-Man, Xavier Tillman Sr., a key component of that championship-winning roster.
Yeah, and you take a look at those names. They're not obviously superstar names, multi-time all-star names, but these are the guys that are going to help you win championships by filling out the rest of your roster. I'm sure we'll get some pretty interesting sign and trade type of deals here falling down the pike in the NBA, but I think those fireworks are gone, and maybe like a DeMar Rosen to see where he goes next. But I am interested to see how the Warriors in that post-Splash Brothers era, Draymond Green getting older now, Steph Curry getting older now, we'll see what they have. But I do find it interesting that Draymond Green goes on the podcast and basically says, like, man, Paul George was ours, except the Clippers just didn't want him to go here, so he went to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, there is some truth to that argument, but shout out to Clippers that are like, you know what? We could add extra draft picks, but we're not just sending somebody to our rival here. We'd rather let him go for free to Philadelphia than actually help the Warriors. I love the gamesmanship that's still alive out there in the West Coast. I love that.
Yeah, rivals, the Dubs are 16-1 in the Western Conference, and the Clips are 30-1. Deep in a pursuit of that Western Conference crown. Now to the WNBA, up next on the early line. England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on the Sunday look like shots on the Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we've talked about it on here, that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Like cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
A big night of celebration in the WNBA. The All-Star teams announced yesterday, and of course the structure this year slightly different, with the Olympics on the horizon at the end of July and the All-Star game played in Phoenix on July 20th. It will be a showcase and a send-off for Team USA. So if you were a WNBA All-Star already on the U.S. Olympic roster, you were slotted there. Team USA will take on Team WNBA as they did 3 summers ago in 2021 before the Tokyo Olympics. In Team WNBA, highlighted by a couple of rookies. The first overall pick, Indiana's Caitlin Clark. The 7th overall pick, Chicago's Angel Reese.
And by the way, let me ask you this question again, just so I heard this correct. Caitlin Clark got 700,000 votes. Aaliyah Boston, 618. Yep. Asia Wilson, 607. Then you had that fall off there, which isn't much of a fall off because they got a lot of votes anyway. Brianna Stewart and Angel Reese. Did you tell me like the leading vote getter got like 95,000 votes? And now we're up to 700,000 votes. That's absolutely amazing. Correct. Because I thought it was like, oh, you must have got 695, not 995. They didn't get 100,000 votes. It just shows you the good space right now that the WNBA is in. And also, I'm not going to rip on the actual way they're going to play the All-Star game because All-Star games don't matter when it all comes down to it. You just want to see the superstars out there. And it's kind of interesting that Team USA is going to stick together, and then you have the outside crew trying to take them down. But I just look at the volume of votes that you're getting, where again, the leader was 95,000, and then you have multiple people with several 100,000 votes. That's really good stuff. And here we go again. Here's what's going to happen, Ben, too, right? You said the discourse that's going to take place. It's not so much that Caitlin Clark got 700,000 votes and Angel Reese only got 381. Ooh, there's a rivalry. But I understand the animosity now is going to come in like, hold on now. Aaliyah Boston is up here over Asia Wilson. It's the way it always happens. Do you remember, Ben, so many times in the NBA, like Yao Ming would get the vote in the start over Shaquille O'Neal because of the Asian influence in the voting. Just absolutely overpowered it. That's what you're getting right now. The Fever are overpowering everybody right now and getting all those votes in. It's sort of fun to watch to see the way it plays out.
And the WNBA All-Star selections are 50% decided by a fan vote, 25% from WNBA players voting, and 25% from coaches as well. So it is differently structured in the WNBA. I hope it is a celebration of both of these historic rookies that have been there, of the eyeballs on Indiana in the entirety of the W. Asia Wilson, the leading vote getter a year ago. More than 95,000, but not into 6 figures. And look at the returns for everybody in the top 10 of the fan vote. It is an awesome time in the WNBA. Historic for both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, who was named the Rookie of the Month in June, and last night continued that over in July. Her Sky team going on the road in Atlanta, winning as a short favorite against the Dream. Angel Reese, 20 points, 19 rebounds, her 11th consecutive double-double, not just a rookie record, but a WNBA record for the most double-doubles in a row, surpassing and adding to Candace Parker's former record of 9 straight in 2015. Reese has done this in 18 career games. She has 11 consecutive double-doubles. So Chicago gets a win, one of 4 games last night. The Las Vegas Aces in front of a record crowd hosting the Indiana Fever. 20,366, the 5th most attended WNBA game in the history of the league. And the Aces, again, continuing to look the part of the 2-time reigning champs. 88-69, covering is a 13.5-point favorite against Indiana. Kelsey Plum leading the way with a game-high 34 points.
Yeah, we felt as much there heading into that game that it was probably going to be a blowout, and it was. And based on that fourth quarter, they're winning by 13 points to easily put them away by close to 20. But it just goes to show you, too, the Aces probably are the draw overall as a team in the WNBA. And for them to say, okay, our home arena here, we're going to move this up the street to T-Mobile and easily sell that thing out with 20,000 seats here, it just shows, again, the good space that they're in at this point where every single WNBA player is benefiting off of what the Fever are doing with Caitlin Clark. But again, those growing pains are going to happen. If you are the Fever, sometimes these losses are good because you can look on the opposite side and say, that's the type of team we aspire to be, and you got to play them and get the feeling of, oh, boy, we got a lot to work on at this point. Nobody's surprised the Aces won, even by 19 points. We said it so yesterday at this point. But you had those measuring stick games, and you got that yesterday. Now you just got to measure up the rest of the way here to one of the best teams in the WNBA.
And they did measure up mostly for 3 quarters, outscored by 13 and the fourth in final. Asia Wilson, another great game last night, 28 points, 9 boards. She's the hefty odds-on favorite to win MVP. Clark remains the -600 favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Hour 2 next.